is Algebra 2, Lesson B. This is a review of the geometry concepts that we learned last year in Algebra 1. I'm going to go through them really quick. All this should be reviewed for you since we've already done it. You're going to need your book, your notebook, so you can write things down and take notes, and something to write with, of course. You're going to want to make sure that you're writing down all these formulas in a place where you can get to them real easy. So like the back cover of your notebook. You don't want to have to dig through all your notes to find the formula, so the back cover is a good place. A designated sheet of paper that you have them on, or even like the back cover of your textbook. Alright, so as we get to formulas, I'll tell you what to write down. Okay, this starts with really easy concepts like perimeter. Remember that perimeter is a fence, so you just add all the sides. So if we have like 6 and 4, this will be 6, this will be 4, it will be 10, 20. Would be the perimeter. You're just going to add the sides up. The perimeter of a circle is called the circumference. That's so hard to spell. Circumference. It's the length all the way around the circle. So if you were trying to put a fence in a circle, there's a couple of terms we have to review. So a line that goes from the center of the circle out to the edge is called a radius. Because it radiates out. Two radiuses together on opposite ends, so it goes from one side of the circle through the center to the other side of the circle, is diameter. And a random line that doesn't go through the center of the circle but goes from one side to the other is called a chord. Alright, to find the circumference of a circle, we're going to use the formula 2 pi r, or pi d. Pi d just means pi times diameter. 2 pi r means 2 radiuses times pi. Alright, next part is about area. So area isn't a fence, it's more like tiles. So let's say we had 3 and 5. Divide this into 3 sections. Divide this into 5. So you just multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. If we counted these up, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is length times width. So you just multiply your width and your length. The area of a circle is pi, area equals pi r squared. And when we say pi, we're using the approximation of pi. Pi equals 3.14. And it's an irrational number, so if you divided that out, it's a never-ending decimal, but we're just going to use 3.14, or you can use the pi button on your calculator. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. So let's say we have a circle with a radius, r means radius, of 2. We would say pi, actually we'll go ahead and, area equals, there's a bug in here, pi r squared. So area equals 3.14 times our radius squared. Our radius is 2. 2 squared is 2 times 2 is 4. So we just do 3.14 times 4. Which is 12.56. So you guys should already know that. We did that a bunch last year. You probably did that in the 6th grade. All right, area of a triangle. Area of a triangle, you'll notice that a triangle has base times height. But a triangle would be the same thing as if you had 2 triangles put together, stacked on top of each other like that, you can make a rectangle. So we're going to use the same formula for a rectangle where we multiply one side times the other side, but then we only are counting half of it. So this is your base and this is your height. And let's say this is 4 and 6. You would say base times height divided by 2. So 6 times 4 divided by 2, and 6 times 4 is 24 divided by 2. This would be 12. We divide by 2 because we only want half of it. We're not counting this imaginary half. So the formula for the area of a triangle is base times height times 1/2, or you could write divided by 2. Alright, there's our triangle. Okay, I'm going to do example B1. And they have this figure drawn. It goes across like that and like that. Then it slants down like that into a triangle. And then this part goes around you. Alright, so that's 4. All across there is 7. That's 2. And that's 5. And it asks us to find the perimeter and the area. I'm going to start with perimeter. And that means we just have to add up all these sides. So we would have 4 and 5 and 7 plus whatever that is, that roundy part. Let's add these first. That would be 16. Alright, so now we're going to figure out the roundy part, and we know that the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. But we only need half of the circumference of a circle. So we're going to divide that by 2. We don't need the whole circle. We're only counting half of it. Well, if we look at this, we can go ahead and cancel those, and we can just get pi r. Pi is 3.14, and in this case, r is 2, so that's going to be 6.28. We're going to add this to the rest of our perimeter, so this 16 counts the 7, and the 5, and the 4, and this 6.28 is going to be this length right here. I'm going to add those up. And we get 22.28. That is the perimeter of that figure. Now we're going to do the area of the figure. Okay, so for the area, we need to divide this up into sections. So there's going to be the half circle, and then we've got a square in the middle and a triangle. Now we got to figure out what these lengths are from here to here, and then from there to there. Well, if we know this is 4, then this also has to be 4. And then 7 minus 4 would be 3. Alright, so we're going to start on this side, and we're going to get the area of this half circle right here. The formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. We only need half a circle, so we're going to divide that by 2. So we're going to have 3.14. R is our radius, which is 2. 2 squared is 2 times 2 is 4. We're going to divide that by 2. Now, I can go ahead and cancel right here. And I'm going to say 3.14 times 2, because there's no point in saying times 4 divided by 2. We can just do times 2. And that would be 6.28. Alright, so that is the area of this half circle. Here, we need to know this length right here, or this length right here. Well, we know if this chord right here, this radius, from here to here is 2, and then from there to there is 2, it'd be the same as the diameter of that circle, so that's 4. So we have 4 times 4, which would be 16. It's going to be that square right there. And now we need this triangle, which would be 3 times 4, because it has to be the height base times height divided by 2. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 would be 6. Alright, so then we're going to add all these together. Plus 6 plus 6.28. We get 28.28. Alright. That was B1. Next one thing we're going to talk about, actually let's do B2. So B2, example B2, I'm on page 13, has this figure that is 10 and 15, and then it's got a circle right here with a radius of 4. And it has a triangle right here with a base of 5 and a height of 6. And then this whole area outside of here is shaded. And it asks us to find the area of the shaded portion of the figure. So we're going to have to find the area of the entire figure and then subtract this circle and this triangle. So for the entire thing, that's super easy. We're going to do 10 times 15, which is 150. Then we have to subtract this circle and this triangle. So we got to find the area of the circle, which is pi r squared. R is 4, so it's 3.14 times 4 squared, which is 16. I'm going to use my calculator for that one. 3.14 times 16 equals 50.24. Okay, that's the area of that circle. Now the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So 6 times 5 is 30. Divide that by 2 and you're going to get 15. Alright, we're going to add these two together and then subtract the total from our 150. This is the total of the non-shaded portion. So we got 50.24 and 15. That one is the circle, that one's the triangle. So that'd be 65.24. And then we're going to do 150 minus 65.24. And we're going to get 84.76. That one. Alright, and it's important to also remember that that would be meters squared because this is two-dimensional. Right. We got the squared when we said meters times meters, 8 meters squared. Alright, the next part is volume. Just going to check and make sure it's still recording. Yeah, it is. Okay. So volume is what we use for three-dimensional figures. So let's say that we have, these are so hard for me to draw. Say we have a square. I'm going to try it a different way. Alright, there we go. I got a three-dimensional cube here. Okay. When we just have a square, we have width, and we have length or height. Length and width. Here we have another dimension. So we've got length and we have width, but we also have height. So length, width, and height. That means we're going to have to multiply 3 different numbers together. So to find volume, we do length times width times height. That's going to give us the volume. Or you can say area of the base times the height. Because the area of the base is the same as length times width in this figure, if it's a cube. Alright, so now it asks us to take this figure right here that had 7 and 5 and 4. This one we just used. And we already figured out the area of that was 28.28 meters squared. And it tells us, what if that figure was 3 feet tall? So it went up, or 3 meters tall. And there was, like that. And it's 3 meters tall. It had a height of 3 meters. So all we have to do is multiply the area of the base times the height. So 28.28 meters squared times 3 meters. And we're going to get 84.84 meters. And then we already have squared plus one more, so that would be cubed. Okay, what if we have a cylinder, but it is slanted? So we've got a circle there and a circle there, and then we've got a slant like that. Well, a vertical line from there to there, from the one base to the next, is called the altitude. And it's the volume of the base. Let's see, the volume is equal to the area of the base times the perpendicular distance between the bases, whether or not the cylinder is a right cylinder. So we're going to do the area of the base times the height, or the altitude, the distance from the top to the bottom. We're not going to measure the slant height, we're going to measure the actual height. Alright, so let's say that this was 10 centimeters. We would do pi r squared for the area of the base times the height. Let's say that this is 20. Alright, so we would say 3.14 times 10 squared, which is 100, times 20. And that would be 314 times 20, which would be 6,280. Okay, so we have a sphere with a radius of 3, and we're asked to find the volume of that. The volume of a sphere with a radius of 3. So for that we need the volume of a cylindrical base that's the same. So we're going to say, okay, so here's our sphere, and it's sitting inside a cylinder. And it's 2/3 of whatever that cylinder's volume is. So to find the volume of the cylinder, we're going to say pi r squared. It's going to get us the base times the height times 2/3. Okay. All right. Pi r squared. So that'd be 3.14. Actually, they just let us keep it in pi on this one. So we're going to say pi r squared. 3 squared is 9 times 9 times the height. Now the height, if we have the circle right here, and we have a radius going up, that's 3. It will be 2 radiuses, so the height is 6. 2 radiuses will be the diameter. So the height of a sphere is always 2 times its radius. And then we're going to multiply that times 2/3, so you can do times 2 divided by 3. And we can cancel here. And we can say 9 times 2 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36 pi. So the volume of a sphere with a radius of 3 is 36 pi. Alright, now they give us a crazy looking figure. This is B3. And on page 15. So we've got this crazy shape right here. Something like that. And then whatever that is. Mine isn't very good compared to theirs. Actually, those lines are supposed to be slanty. Let me try again. Alright. Alright, and then the height is 10. Just look on the bottom of page 15 to see what this is actually talking about. All right, 242 meters squared is what the area is of a base, so the top or the bottom. Okay. And they say, find the volume of this cylinder. The area of the base is 242 meters squared, and its height is 10. So we're going to do the area of the base times the height. So 242 meters squared times 10 meters is going to give us 2,420 meters cubed. That one was really easy. Alright, now they got another one that's similar to that. There's our crazy shape. But it all just goes to a point right here. So it's a cone, basically. Crazy looking cone. Find the volume of this cone. The area of the base is 242 meters squared. And our height is 10. Okay, so to find the area of a cone, it's 1/3 what a cylinder is. So we're going to say 242 meters squared times 10 times 1/3. Or an easier way to write that is divided by 3. So that would be 2,420 meters cubed divided by 3, which equals 806.67. Alright, so if it's a crazy pointy cone thing, you just divide it by 3. Area of the base times the height divided by 3. If it's a sphere, you have to multiply it by 2/3. Alright, so B5 is asking us, the volume of a sphere is exactly 2/3, blah, blah, blah. We already said that, 2/3 of a cylinder. Alright, so they want us to find the volume of a sphere whose radius is 3 centimeters. I just did that one already. Alright, surface area. Go to surface area to B5. Alright, surface area. So they're giving us a figure that looks like this. Alright, so it's a three-dimensional figure. And surface area is the area of each surface. So how much wood would I need to cover every single side of this if I was building a box, a plywood box? So it gives us some measurements. We've got 3, 4, 5 right here, and 6 right there. Okay, so this one's 5. Alright, so how many sides does this have? Well, it has a top right there, which is 6 times 5, so that's 30. That's the top. It has a bottom right here. That is 3 times 6, 18. It has a back right here. And that is 4 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. And then it has 2 triangular sides. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 would be 6. And then this triangular side, which is 3 times 4, so base times height divided by 2. So 3 times 4 divided by 2, which would be 12 divided by 2, which equals 6. And we have 2 of those. We're going to write 6 twice. Now all we have to do is add all those together. So you find the area of each surface and you add it together. Let's see, 6 and 6 is 12, and 8 will be 20, 24. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 84. So the surface area of that is 84. Alright, what if we have a cylinder? So we've got a circle. This is like a can of peas. And they want us to find the surface area of that. And it tells us that it is 10 high. And that the diameter is 4. So what we're going to need to do is think of every surface. So it's got a top and a bottom. The top and the bottom are going to be the same, so we can multiply whatever we find for the top times 2 to get the top and the bottom. And that will be pi r squared, because it's the area of a circle. Now for the lateral surface area, the sides, lateral always means the side surface area, it's going to roll out to be a big rectangle. Because if you take a piece of paper and you roll it up into a sphere like that, when we unroll it, it makes a rectangle. How do we know how long it is from here all the way around to there? Well, that is just circumference, which is, so we're going to add 2 pi r. So first we're going to multiply to get the area of the base, and we're going to do 2 of those. And then we need to find the circumference and multiply that times the height, which is 10. So 2 pi r is going to tell us how long this is. And then 10 is how tall it is. It's to give us the area of that once it's rolled out flat. Alright, I'm going to need more room to write. I'm going to erase all that. And write it over here. Smaller. It's 10. And that is 4. Okay, so 2 times 3.14 times r squared, which is 4. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 times 3.14 times 4. No, I'm going to write this smaller. Okay. Plus 2 times 3.14 times 4 times 10. Alright, so that's a lot of calculating there. So I'm going to use my calculator because that's a lot. So 3.14 times 16 would be 50.24 right here. And that's going to be the area of the top of that. Times 2 is 100.48. So that's the area of the top and the bottom. Now we need all the way around. So we're going to do 3.14 times 2 times 4 times 10. And that gets us 249.6. I'm sure that's right. Nope, I think I calculated that wrong. Hang on. Alright. 2 pi r. So 2 times 3.14 times r, which is 4. 25.12, so all three of these make 25.12. That's going to be our circumference. So the top right here is 25.12, and then we still have to multiply that times 10, because we have to multiply it times the height, which is 10. There, 10 is our height. And that's going to be 251.2. And then we're going to add this 100.48. And we get 351.68. Yes, that is right. Alright, so we're going to do B8. And then want the lateral surface area of this figure. So I've got, I'm going to do it down here by the bottom, or up here by the top. And that goes around like that. And then it says that we've got 6 and 5 and 5 up there, and then a dot going out, and that's 3. Okay, so what we're going to have to find is 2 bases, the area of the base times 2. And the area of the base would be area of base, we're just going to do that for that. And then we're going to have to add that to the lateral surface area, which would be the perimeter of the whole figure, times the height of the figure. And it tells us in the question that the height is equal to 10 feet tall. Alright, so how they've done it is they just stretched this whole figure out to find the lateral surface area. Actually, let's do the base first. Okay, so we're going to find the area of the base. Alright, so we can divide this into two parts here. And one is this rectangle of 5 times 6, so that'll be 30. And we're going to have to add that to the area of half of a circle right here. So for a circle, we do pi r squared, and r is 3. R 3 squared would be 9, so 3.14 times 9. Grab my calculator and do that. $28.26, but we have to divide that in half because it's only half a circle. So we get 14.13. So we're going to add that. That's the area of this half circle. This 30 is the area of this square. We're going to add those together. We get 44.13. Alright. So that's going to be the area of the base. So we got 2 times the area of the base, which is 44.13. Alright, so that gives us two bases, the top and the bottom. So remember, we've got a top and a bottom. This is a three-dimensional figure that goes like that, and then it comes up, and it does the same thing again. The one in the book looks a lot better than mine. Yeah, something like that. It's a three-dimensional figure, so we have a base and then another base, so two of those there. Now we have to find the lateral surface area, and that's all of our up and down surface area. Now, the way the book shows you how to do that would be if we just unfolded this whole thing. So, if we started here to there, we would have a section that is 5, and then we would have a section that's 6, 5, and 6, and another 5, and then the roundy part would be there, and that would be 3 pi to tell us what that is, the circumference of that would be 3 pi. And then it says it's 10 feet tall. So we could do this in sections. We could say 5 times 10 is 50, 6 times 10 is 60, 5 times 10 is 50, and then 10 times 3 pi would be 94.2. Alright, that's one way to do it. And then we'd add all those together. We get 254.2. So that's going to be your perimeter times your height. Alright, the other way to do it would just be to find the perimeter of this and then multiply it by the height, which is 10. It may be less confusing for you to do it that way. So if we find the perimeter of this, let's see if it comes out the same. We would have 5 plus 6 plus 5. Okay, there's all our straight parts, 5, 6, and 5. And then we need the perimeter of this half circle. And that would be the circumference of a circle, but it's only a half a circle. Circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. And r is going to be 3, so that will be 2 times 3.14 times 3. So figure out what that is. That would be 18.84. But then we have to divide that by 2 because it's only half of the circle. And that would be 9.42. And then we would add these together. 10, 19, 25. 25.42. So that will be the perimeter all the way around this figure. Perimeter right there will be 25.42. And then we have to multiply that times the height, which is 10. And that gets us the exact same answer as there. 25 or 254.2. Alright. Now if we multiply this times 2, we're going to have 88.26. And then we have to add that to our 254.2. Eight, 5, 13, 14. And we get 342.46. Make sure I did that right. Hang on. 342.46. Alright. Surface area of a sphere. Alright, so surface area of a sphere. Surface area of a sphere, the formula is 4 pi r squared. So, this one's pretty easy. If you have a sphere, and let's say that it's got a radius of 3, you're just going to plug that 3 in where your r is, and you're going to say 4 times pi times 3 times 3 is 9, times 4, 36. Pi will be the area, the surface area of that sphere. So that formula, very important, write it down. It's 4 times pi r squared. So it's for circumferences of a circle. Alright. A part of a circle is called an arc. Alright, so if we've got it, this is what we talked about in class. If we've got a circle, and we designate a piece of that circle, that's called an arc. It just would look like that. So it's just a line, but it's curved. Part of a circle is called an arc. Now, if we have the center point and we have an angle, let's make the angle hit this. So, an angle coming there and there, designating that arc. This area right here is called a sector of a circle. So we've got a sector of the circle, and then we've got an arc. And we have this as the central angle. Is this angle right here. That angle is going to be called our central angle. So if the central angle is 27 degrees, then the arc is going to be a 27-degree sector of the circle. So whatever the degrees is right here, that's what we're going to name our arc. Alright, so let's try something else. So we've got a circle. And then we've got, this is 45 degrees. We're going to call this 45 degrees. That angle right there. So that means the sector of the circle will be 45 degrees. And it tells us that this line right here is 10 centimeters. And it wants us to find how long it is from here to here. How long is our arc? So what we're going to do is we're going to find the circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r. 2 times 3.14, and r is 10. That's easy because that will be 31.4 times 2 would be 628, 62.8. Sure. Would be the circumference of this circle. So that's all the way around. But we only need this piece right here. So if we know that there are 360 degrees in a circle, we're going to take our 62.8 and divide it by 360. And I get 0.174444. Doesn't matter what you get. You just divide it by 360. And then we're going to multiply it times whatever this is. So we want 45 of those degrees. Alright, so when we divide it by 360, it tells us what 1 degrees equals. But we want 45 degrees, so we're going to multiply that 1 degrees by 45. And we get 7.849. So 7.85 is going to be how big that is. Alright, go ahead and do, oh, this one doesn't have practice problems. You're going to be doing Lesson B for your Wednesday homework. Well, your Monday assigned homework, it's due on Wednesday. And you're going to bring that to class. Now, if there are any that you don't know how to do, you don't understand it, just leave it blank, and then you can ask me first thing when we get to class, and I'll do it on the board and re-explain it to you until you guys understand it. All right? See you on Wednesday.